Hello and welcome to another episode here in Yabong Pilipinas. For this episode, we will talk about the attributes of communication and basic elements of communication, specifically yung sender. If you were new here in this channel, I am Josh, and my mission here in Yabong Pilipinas is to democratize access to agricultural education. Ang ibig sabihin lamang nun is kung ano yung mga topics or coverage ng licensure examination, my personal mission is to make it all available there in YouTube, in Facebook, social media platforms para mas marami rin yung makapasa and at the same time makatulong sa ating mga kababayan na like hindi ganun ka-afford na marami kasing gastos talaga, let's be honest, ang pagpunta sa review centers. So, ayun, this is my service to the Filipino people actually. So, ito, communication and extension tayo. If you're new here in this channel, meron na akong contents on crop science. Medyo, actually, tapos ko na yata ang crop science. Most of that, ayun yung dinidiscuss ko whenever I talk to licensure review centers. Tapos, I am tackling soil science, crop protection, animal science, soil science, agricultural extension, and what else? Agricultural economics. So may mga nagawa na akong contents on those, so you can check those out. I have playlists na anim, tas bawat isa doon ay meron ng contents on that. So, if you want your friends to also pass the licensure examinations with you, kindly forward and share this video to them para sabay kayong papasa sa licensure at magiging registered agriculturist at the end of the year. One of the things that lagi ko sinasabi here in this channel is that if there is someone who will be the reason kung bakit kayo magiging registered agriculturist, kayo yon. I am only here as a guide in order for you to go to that license. Pero all of the efforts, lahat ng mga pagpupuyat, kayo yan. So, ayun. And I am very excited to be in this journey with you. Kaya, then, as of now, like, ganado ako na shoot, nag-film ng different topics, ng different lectures. Ginagawa ko pa yung mga slides, tapos recording yung mga yan. So, I am happy that I am able to help. Even as of this stage, I think malapit na tayo mga 1,000 subscribers here sa YouTube, and there are a lot of people na nagsasabi na like nag-PPM or minsan nagko-comment na parang thank you sa mga videos dahil doon kaya daw siya pumasa last year. And nung time na yun, wala pa akong ibang contents on different subjects, like more on crop sciences pa lang. So, yeah. This is a video on communication and extension. So this will be divided into 4 parts. So ito ang part 1 out of 4. And let us start. Sa table of specifications, meron doon 20 items about communication and extension. So ako, dinidesign ko tong lecture series na to in this YouTube channel and this Facebook page na years from now, pwede pa rin siyang gamitin. Ayun. So, ang parang ginagawa ko is that, kasi 'di ba parang karaniwan sa mga review centers, parang sinasabi nila ang mga ginagamit ay yung mga olds from different kunwari yung mga passers, tinatanong nila kung ano yung mga lumabas, blah blah blah. Then ayun na yung nilalagay nila, tapos ayun lang yung dinidiscuss nila. So on my end, parang I want this Yabong Pilipinas channel to actually thrive in that na kunwari kapag hindi na sila yung mga anong tawag doon, examiner, magiging relevant pa rin yung Yabong Pilipinas, parang ganon. So doon ko siya dinedesign na kung ma-observe nyo ang mga questions na mga lumalabas dito ay karaniwan hindi lang siya puro objective, kung hindi minsan situational. So again, sinasabi ko na ang boards ay palawakan ng alam at hindi siya as in super duper palaliman ng alam. So ayun. Okay, so dito, communication and extension, 20 items daw yan according to the TOS. So kasama doon yung elements of communication process, apply the elements of the communication process in designing effective communication strategies, analyze the role of effective feedback mechanisms within the communication process, also the models of communication, which I already discussed in a posted video, yung 4 models of communication. So yeah, so for this episode, we will focus on the elements of the communication process and the meron ding communication strategies. I think this was, uh, ito ay nakalagay pala sa ibang video. Okay, let us start with communication and agricultural extension. So, it is the process of sharing agricultural knowledge, skills, and innovations between extension workers and farmers. If there is one thing that I really appreciated about agricultural extension, it is that ang ag extension, siya ang bridge, kumbaga mula sa researchers, sa mga ginagawa natin sa scientific world, papunta na sa ating mga farmers. So the goal of communication and agricultural extension is to promote learning, behavior change, and adoption of technologies. So that is one of the goals ng communication and agricultural extension. Example neto, yung DA technician, tinuturuan na yung mga farmers how to use organic pest control methods through a field demonstration. So that is an example of communicating in agriculture. So here are the attributes of communication. Ayan. So first, communication is dynamic. If you are a graduate of senior high school, I believe that this has already been discussed when we took komunikasyon at pananaliksik and oral communication. So kami ang first batch ng K to 12. So parang sobrang naaalala ko to dati nung nag-agricultural extension ako. So ang communication, it is dynamic. Ang ibig sabihin nun ay nagbabago siya. So it is active, continuous, and constantly changing based on the situation and feedback. The message may evolve as it moves between the sender and the receiver. So each interaction can influence future communication. So communication is dynamic. Ayun yung isa sa mga attributes ng communication, dynamic. Ibig sabihin, nagbabago. The next one is communication is systemic. So communication, it takes place within a system of interconnected factors, such as culture, community, values, and environment. Community values and environment. So every communication occurs within a social, cultural, and institutional context. So let us say, for example, in the case of agriculture, kung paano natin kinukomunika sa ating mga magsasaka yung mga technologies dati. So it is systemic. Isa siyang parte ng isang sistema. Example, sa DA, meron tayong Agricultural Training Institute, 'di ba? So ibig sabihin yung pagkukomunika noong mga teknolohiyang binubuo natin sa agrikultura ay parang mandato siya ng API. Ganyan. So naka-embed na yung communication side na yon within that system, kumbaga. So communication is systemic. And even in our like daily lives, let us say for example in our family. So that is somehow a part of culture as well. And that is an environment as well. So merong social, cultural, and an institutional context. 'Di ba? Family is the basic unit of the society. So even doon, sa ganun kaliit, meron pa rin komunikasyon na nangyayari, hindi ba? So ang susunod naman is yung communication involves interaction through symbols. So people communicate through symbols such as words, salita, gestures, even yung galaw, images, litrato, or objects, mga bagay na nagre-representa ng mga ideas. So symbols, ang tawag doon ay symbols. Symbols help express meaning beyond literal words. For example, kapag sinabi natin na ano nga ba? Wait lang. Nag-isip ako ng mga symbolism. Kapag sinabi natin or kapag nakikita tayo ng ganitong kulay, for example, kulay red, hindi ba karaniwan natin na i-incorporate ang red sa katapangan? Ganyan. Kapag blue ay kapayapaan. Yung mga ganun na bagay. So, maaari tayong makapag-communicate based on symbols as well. Aside from, of course, kung anong ginagamit na natin usually, which is yung words, kung paano tayo nakikipag-usap, nagsusulat tayo. Ngayon, pwede ka na rin makipag-communicate through, like, ay, hindi lang ngayon. Like, dati pa, ginagamit ng form of communication ang, for example, art, paintings, sculptures. So all of those things, all of those art forms ay merong kaakibat na meaning, kumbaga. So ayun yung isa sa mga attributes ng communication. So another attribute of communication is that meaning is personally constructed. So each individual interprets messages differently. Have you ever read a text? Tapos sa text, parang feeling mo, galit yung kausap mo, pero hindi pala siya galit. Parang ganon. So, because every message na pwede nating mailagay, ang bawat individual na every message na pwede nating matanggap, kapag ibabasa mo yun sa iba-ibang tao, possible that they will have a different interpretation of the meaning of that specific message. So it can be interpreted based on their experiences, based on their culture and background. So there is no single fixed meaning. So understanding depends on the receiver's perspective. That is why in communication and agricultural extension, we highly need to know the level of understanding ng ating mga farmers. So we need to really go and understand them and hear them kung naiintindihan ba nila, ano yung mga konteksto nila. Kaya karaniwan here in the Philippines, nahihirapan talaga yung mga farmers natin na tumanggap ng mga bagong teknolohiya kasi kunwari, ang lagi nila sinasabi, nag-work naman yun dati. So why nag-English? So nag-work naman yun dati. So why would we accept that new technology? Parang ganun yung kanilang sinasabi. So here, in communication, one of the critical things talaga to do is look at yung sa aspeto ng iyong receiver. And of course, the noise, the barriers na pwedeng mangyari. And we will tackle all of that, I think, here in this series kasi 4 videos to. Ayan. Okay, so let us start with the basic elements of communication, starting with the sender. Ayan, bakit wala nakalagay? Ba't wala nakalagay? Okay. So yan, elements of communication process, unahin natin ang sender. So the sender or the communicator is the source of the message. Halimbawa, mga agricultural technician. So, alam ko na kasi mas nauna kong sinut yung video on the models of communication. So, nandoon lagi nauuna si sender. Ayan. So, si sender, sa kanya nagagaling ang mensahe. So why the source matters? So the effectiveness of communication and agricultural extension depends greatly on the qualities of the source. Ibig sabihin, kaya ba ng source or knowledgeable ba yung source when it comes to that specific technology, that specific information na kanilang sinasabi sa ibang tao, sa mga farmers, etc. Because farmers are more likely to listen, trust, and adopt innovations when the communicator is knowledgeable, credible, respectful of local culture, and relatable to their farming experience. Ito na yung sinasabi ko kanina, na kapag kunwari ang isang agricultural technician ay pupunta sa isang lugar, tapos parang ini-impose ang isang technology without even looking at the background of the farmers, talagang mahihirapan yung farmers or magiging non-receptive talaga yung farmers when it comes to accepting that technology. Kasi una, kahit na knowledgeable siya, kahit na credible siya, pero hindi siya nakaka-relate sa farming experience, hindi siya respectful of local culture. So kaya mahalaga na ang source dapat tignan muna kung ano yung mga kalagayan ng farmers. Ganyan. So knowledgeable, credible, respectful of local culture, and relatable of farming. Relatable to their farming experience. So here are some of the characteristics of the source. First is homophily. So this means the similarity between the communicator and the audience in terms of background, beliefs, values, or experiences. So one of the things that I am doing whenever I talk to, like, for example, kapag ako ay pupunta sa mga communities, there was a time back when I was in masters na parang in-invite ako to talk sa isang community gardens. One of the first things that I did, hindi muna ako nag-start ng lecture, tinanong ko muna kasi ang mga tinuturuan ko ay mothers. Ganyan, mga community, like community talaga siya. So, tinanong ko muna sila, ano po ba yung mga ginagawa nyo kadalasan? Eh di sila nagtataas sila ng kamay, karaniwan po, nandito po kami. Ano po yung mga karaniwan yung tinatanim? So, kinikilala muna sila. Kasi, it is very important that the communicator, someone who extends a knowledge, is has this like similarity sa kanila, sa background, beliefs, values, or experiences noong kanyang pinagsasabihan o noong kanyang audience. When farmers perceive the extension worker as one of them, they are more open to learning and adopting new practices. Kaya I feel like agricultural extension is not really a one-day process. It is a relationship that you must maintain. And this is also one of the challenges uh na meron ako whenever I talk to different crowds, especially I think the peak of my speaking engagement talaga is 2022, 2023, yung mga yan, nung nagsisimula ako sa Masters. So parang every month, every week, meron akong pinupuntahan na community, meron akong pinupuntahan na mga organizations wherein ini-invite nila ako to speak, blah, blah, blah. So parang ang pinaka-challenge doon is that kailangan makarelate muna sa'yo yung mga audience mo. Ayan. So, that's the principle of homophily. So, dapat may similarity ang nagsasalita at yung kinakausap. Ayan. So, meron tayong example here. An extension worker who grew up in a farming community and speaks the local dialect can easily relate to farmers, reducing communication barriers. So that is an example ng merong homophily. So the key point in homophily is that it builds trust and support, making messages easier to understand and accept. So dito papasok na napakalaga even yung language nga eh. 'Di ba kasi language is also another barrier. That is why, if you notice then, ito yung isa sa mga na-develop ko throughout my speaking journey, like ever since din naman, na parang kalagitnaan nagiging malalim yung Tagalog ko, tapos biglang magsa-straight English, ganyan. So parang, and even the accent, like kung paano mag-shift agad yung accent, etc. So, those are things na na-develop ko sa akin na kapag kunwari, nasa isang malaking crowd ako, mga 300 plus. Tapos iba nakikita ko medyo nakakunot na yung mga noon nila. Mag-shift ako bigla-bigla sa boom, straight Tagalog tayo dyan. O kaya may joke, etc. etc. So, ayun, relatability. It builds trust and rapport. Okay, the next one is credibility. So credibility, how believable and trustworthy the communicator is in the eyes of the audience. So itong mga to, it is earned, not automatically given. Hindi porket, let's say, for example, pumasok ka sa isang room and you have your PhD, you have your master's degree, hindi ka agad credible sa mata ng mga tao. So it is shaped by the communicator's behavior, knowledge, and attitude. So no matter, kaya if you notice na parang sa mga lecture stuff, parang, anong tawag dito? Ini-introduce mo na syempre yung speaker, etc. And most of the time, ang karaniwang mga nandun ay mga like achievements, blah, 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 etc. So, sa akin, on my end, whenever I talk to different organizations, different engagements, ganyan, meron kasi akong portion doon sa aking bio note na inilalagay ko na I am a music lover, na kumakanta ako, etc. Blah, blah, blah. I love attending dance classes, etc. Blah, blah, blah. So parang merong sense of, ang laging unang sinasabi pagkatapos na ay parang, uy, sample nga, sir. Parang gumaganon sila. Pero syempre hindi ako nagsasample. Pero, anong tawag dyan? Kaya doon papasok yung homophily kanina na relatability. Ayun, na okay, hala parehas kami, etc. So sa credibility naman, yung aspect noong example ko na yan is that yung mga credentials. Ayan. So kahit na meron kang ganun, pero kung hindi nakita ng mga audience na okay, meron kang behavior. For example, the confidence, yung knowledge and yung attitude mo towards the topic ay hindi ka panipaniwala, ayun, may hirapan sila na kumuha ng message sa'yo kung feeling nila you are also uh, grasping at the topic pa, parang ganon. So farmers rely on credible sources to decide whether to try or reject a new agricultural innovation. Kaya karaniwan kapag pupunta tayo, in our case, for example, sa science world, I will use the Microgreens project as a way for us to, anong tawag dito, to discuss this. uh, yung microgreens kasi, it was my undergraduate and my master's thesis, and I was one of the pioneers in UPLB studying microgreens. So whenever we go to different places, teaching people in the community, teaching students, teaching researchers, teaching professionals, so anong tawag dito? Kailangan ma-establish mo na ikaw kapag pumasok ka sa isang room, alam nila knowledgeable ka. So it is also my technique to say those things, that I am one of the pioneer, that it is my master's thesis, it is my bachelor's thesis, etc. So dun din matitest kung knowledgeable ka ba talaga or credible ka ba na magsalita doon sa topic na iyon. Pero of course, ang lagi ko sinasabi, you should not always like allot so much time doon sa credibility na side. Kasi it will show if you are really knowledgeable pagkarating sa, for example, question and answer portion na. Something like that. So example here, if a respected extension officer demonstrate how a new seed variety performs well in local conditions, farmers are more likely to adopt it. Ayan. So credibility is the foundation of influence in agricultural communication. Next is character. Para iba yung design ko. Ayan. So next is, so we have the dimensions of credibility pala. Ayan siya. So character. So character refers to the communicator's honesty, integrity, and goodwill towards others. A communicator with good character is seen as ethical, fair, and sincere. Farmers trust communicators who act with honesty and fairness. So ayan yung character. Next is competence. Competence is the communicator's knowledge, skills, and expertise in the subject matter. Farmers assess competence by observing how well the extension worker explains, demonstrates, and applies agricultural practices. There are a lot of people na ito, starting 2026, sobrang na-obsessed ako sa mga podcasts. And one of the and parang everyday I listen to podcast. Like in aspects na kailangan kong i-improve sa life ko, or I want to really pursue like business, like social media, and also communication, of course. Kasi as an educator, you are a communicator of thoughts, of information, of knowledge. Kaya ako, lagi ako nakikinig ng mga podcasts about how to communicate better, how to remove yung mga filler words, yung mga ganyan, 'di ba? And I feel like meron naman akong progress when it comes to that. Kasi if I will look at my videos like from 2018 or ano, parang like marami talagang and I think naka-move on na ako dun sa phase na yon. So, thank God. Pero ang laging sinasabi ng mga podcasters when it comes to communication and competence ay kapag ang isang tao kaya niyang i-explain in layman's term ang isang bagay na mas gagawin niyang mas simple, siya yung mas competent. Siya yung mas magaling mag-explain. So, ayun. Kasi ako, let us say for example, ako na lang, para wala nang madamay. Wow, joke lang. Anong tawag dito? Kapag, kunwari, I will explain crop science principles. For example, wala akong maisip ngayon. The central dogma for molecular biology, parang ganyan. I can actually explain that using not highfalutin words, like using the technical terms. Pero one of the things that I've learned throughout my teaching career then ay gumamit ng mga like mas simple, magkaroon ng mga halimbawa, kumbaga. Mas simplify yung mga concepts para mas maintindihan siya. And ano bang tawag dito? I was commended doon ng mga dati kong naging superiors, mga naging boss ko, etc. Na parang I can translate heavy technical knowledge on I to a simplified one, parang ganon. So, ayun, competence strengthens credibility and encourages technology adoption. So, halimbawa, meron kang bagong innovation, bagong seed or hybrid seed, ayan, kailangan makita ng mga farmers ano yung epekto ng mga yun. Hindi mo pa rin sabihin na, ito po kasi meron siyang gene A, B, C, D. Kasi yung pong gene na yun, it will heighten the nutrients and the phytochemicals of your crop. Hindi ka naman pwede magsalita na gano'n sa mga farmers, di ba? So, kailangan mong i- i-simplify, kumbaga, na parang ito yung mga example, ito po yung picture. Kapag po ito, itinanim nyo, ganito yung mangyayari. Ito yung comparison na ito mas sustansya siya, mas pwede siyang gawing ganito, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Basta parang ganon. So, competence. The next is composure. So composure means the communicator's calmness, confidence, and emotional control during communication. So one of my mentors, I would consider him as a mentor. Kahit na, I don't know, parang saglit ko lang siya naging prof. Tapos, as in, two, dalawang meetings nga lang yata, parang dalawa or tatlong meetings lang. Tapos favorite prof ko na siya, tapos tropa na kami ngayon. So, hello sa'yo, Sir Chris. Hindi mo naman ito mapapanood. So parang may one time na parang master's class kasi yun. Tapos okay na kami sa topic. Tapos bigla siya nag-shift sa communication as a topic na parang your credibility starts the moment you enter a specific room. So I am also observing this whenever like I enter my classroom kapag first day of class, kumbaga. Even your posture, the way you hold your laptop, everything, nandun siya. Kasama siya. And it can also be something na pwedeng i-judge sa'yo ng mga tao sa paligid. Of course, hindi naman siya like, kunwari pag, ano ba, hindi siya pagmamataas, kumbaga. So ako, karaniwan, I am very, lagi akong, anong tawag dito? Nag-eye contact talaga sa audience. So, eye contact is everything for me when it comes to communication. Kasi doon ko nagkikita kung naiintindihan ba nila yung mga sinasabi ko. So, as much as possible, whenever I enter a room, I feel yung room and gumingiti agad ako. Ayun. So, para mas maging magaan yung atmosphere, kumbaga. So, composure doon siya kasama. So, it reflects professionalism and self-assurance even under pressure. One of the things na talagang in-embed ko talaga sa mga talks ko ay ang pagbibigay ng jokes. Kaya alam mo, nagpagkwentuhan na lang. Alam nyo, karaniwan ng mga, for example, noong nagkaklase ko sa UPLB or sa UP Manila, laging parang sinasabi ng prof ng katabing room, but parang hindi kayo nag-exam? Bakit tawa sila ng tawa? Something like that. Or bakit parang hindi kayo nag-aral? Tawa sila ng tawa. Kasi I'm trying to like, in order also for me to be comfortable as a speaker and them to be comfortable as a learner. Parang ganon. So, kailangan doon papasok yung, okay, even humor, pwede siyang pumasok dito eh. So, self-assurance even under pressure. So, composure helps maintain respect, authority, and trust in community interactions. Kasi whenever the audience feel that you are reachable at hindi ka nasa taas kumbaga ng stage, ayun. Kaya, if makaka-attend kayo ng mga lectures ko whenever, kung saan man, lagi akong umiikot. I really want to have like a wireless mic para makaikot ako at magkaroon sila ng feel na okay, ito yung lecturer natin. Lumalapit siya, nag-i-immerse siya doon sa baba, uusap siya sa amin. And that is actually a form of maintaining my composure. Ganon. Next is dynamism. So, okay, dito rin pala papasok yun. So, dynamism refers to the communicator's energy, enthusiasm, and motivation in delivering messages. Dynamic communicators engage their audience and inspire participation. Ano daw? And inspire participation. Of course, dito sa online, hindi natin ito pwedeng gawin. So whenever you kung gusto niyo ako makita na live, wow, na para bang meron siyang concert. Ayan, so I hope someday makita tayo ng face-to-face, ganyan. So, dynamism creates interest and excitement, turning learning into action. So, dito na papasok, that same professor, Sir Chris, siya yung nagturo sa amin ng parang the 4 hormones in communication na kailangan ma-activate, which are dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphin. So, those are some of the things na kailangan ma-activate sa iyo and also sa audiences mo whenever you communicate to them. Ayun. So, hindi naman yan lalabas sa extension. Sinabi ko lang siya dito. Kasi sobrang laking effect nun whenever I teach, etc. Kaya if ma-observe nyo rin dito, minsan nag-joke-joke din ako. Kasi malay ko ba kung sobrang lagmok na kayo dyan na nag-aaral. Ayun. Kasi dun din. So again, ano yung una? Character, competence, composure, and dynamism. And that's it for this episode. Part 1 pa lang to of 4. I'll have 3 more episodes about communication and extension. If you are new here in this channel, can you please like, subscribe, and click the notification bell? Also, share this to anyone na gusto niyang pumasa ng licensure exams with you. It will help them. And ayun, as of now, March 2026, I am actually filming and releasing contents every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So, ayun, para matapos na to ng mga June 2026, tapos makapag-review kayo ng 6 months bago yung licensure examination. And yeah, again, if you have any concerns, comments, recommendations, you can just comment them down below and I will read and I will try to reply to each one of them. I think that's it for this video. Thank you very much for listening. See you in the next episode.